Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
When did /x/ become such shit? What is with these Tumblr vampire threads, dream interpretations, people thinking they have special powers, and the succubus summing threads are cancer? Everyone who I've talked to hates how /x/ is now. Let's get a good old original creepy experience thread going. I'll start. This is one of a couple creepy stories I have from my old childhood house, Be Me. Live in a cul-de-sac. Ed and Eddie.jpg. I was around the age of 10 when this happened. Live in a cozy little townhome. Things would come up missing from time to time. Those things would pop back up after a week or so, but not always in the same place. Be up in my room watching Rocket Power. Throat is parched. Feel the need for some cold refreshment. As I am walking down my flight of stairs, I get this weird sensation. You know that gut feeling you get when something is wrong. Start to head back upstairs when the overwhelming dryness in my throat compels me to go back down. Decide to run down there as quickly as I can, grab a Capri Sun and head back up. Rush down the steps, turn to the kitchen area, and I instantly stop. My blood runs cold as not 14 feet in front of me is a tall, smoky black figure. I stood there for what felt like hours and stared at it, too chicken shit to move. My heart drops as the figure turns to me. Now facing me, see two red dots where its eyes would have been. At that moment, all of the kitchen cabinets flung open and it vanished. The second it was gone, I ran back upstairs and hid under the covers until my parents came home. Get yelled at for leaving all the cabinets open. MP3. I've only told my mom and a very few friends of the weird shit that happened in that house.
B train conductor, going from Vancouver to North Bend. About average 6-hour trip. About 3 a.m. Train goes into emergency and stops in middle of nowhere. Have to get out and walk about a 1.5-mile train. Dense Canadian brush everywhere. As I am walking, I think I can hear another set of footsteps on the ballast. Rocks under the rails. Think it may be bear. The steps were pretty heavy. Keep walking. A little uneasy, but I have run into a bear before. Find the hole in my train and put it back together. Turn around and start walking back. Hear the footsteps behind me. Realize I'm being stalked, start getting really worried because it may be a cougar and those are way more aggressive than a bear. Pick up the pace. Hear just behind the sound of footsteps climbing up a metal ladder on the side of cars. It is a person. Hear rustling in bushes right next to me. Sprint to the head end. Get on and go. Notify RTC. Get to North Bend. Police waiting for us. They find 2 people and 1 dead man in an empty boxcar. Man died from an apparent overdose.
Was at my grandparents' house out in the countryside, Bulgaria, by the way. The house was on 2 floors. Me, Grandpa, and Grandma were on the first floor all in one room watching TV. Now about this house, on the first floor you could hear everything from the second. Light footsteps, opening doors, sometimes even talking. Anyways, we were watching TV and there were footsteps on the second floor. They just kept going around the rooms on the second floor slowly. At one point, I could hear a chair being moved. My grandparents did not even acknowledge the sounds. I asked them what was happening. What were those sounds? They ignored me and kept watching the TV. The noises continued. I asked them again. They kept ignoring me. At one point, Grandpa says, "Pretty noisy tonight," and Grandma just goes, and they keep watching TV. I keep asking, and I am starting to freak out, and Grandma says, "Do not worry. Someone is probably having a party somewhere." What the fuck, no houses close enough to hear anything from them. And that was it. Noises stopped eventually. We were the only people in the house. Had to sleep that night on the second floor. Was pretty spoopy. This happened shortly after my great-grandfather died, in that house. He tried to off himself. I have another story from that house, and a few from where I live currently. We'll post if anyone is interested. This one happened before my great-grandfather died. I was sleeping again on the second floor, on a couch. The couch was kind of in the middle of the room. I woke up just before I fell to the ground. I was almost behind the couch, and it was a pretty big couch. No way I could push myself over it while sleeping. I remember that my body was completely horizontal when I fell on the ground. Was probably a meter, the distance I fell, or at least when I woke up. Was almost like someone picked me up while I was asleep and dropped me on the floor in the same pose I was sleeping. I always had an uneasy feeling on the second floor in that house. No reason really, it was just spooky. Was not just me though. My sister and my 2 cousins felt the same. We used to spend summer breaks there, all of us. Same anon with the grandparents' story. It was 2012, we moved into this apartment 2 years before that. Anyways, I was home alone and was cleaning my room. I was staying next to this huge wardrobe that is in my room. As I was staying there, on the side of the wardrobe right next to my head, 2 loud thuds come from the wardrobe. Like someone hit it hard with his palm. I tried doing that, hitting it hard. The sound was exactly the same. No way those sounds could have come from somewhere else. We are on the last floor of the apartment building, and below us nobody lives, and I clearly heard the bangs right next to my head on the side of the wardrobe. 2 or 3 years after that, me and my mother were talking about /X/ related stuff. And she tells me that the first time she went into this apartment, she went into my room. She heard 2 loud bangs from the wardrobe right next to her head. Interesting thing is that I never told her or anyone else about my experience. After a couple of beers, I will share some more stories from this apartment. Also, the last owner offed himself with a gun in my room. We still keep the box he kept his pistol in. My dad stores his shit in it. It is a black box with white Chinese letters on it, kind of spooky.
Got a story here for you, fellas. I'm about 9 years old, live on a rural, suburbanish one-way street. At the end of the street is a big wooden house. Nobody has lived there for as long as I have been alive. The owners sold it years before I was born. I am out riding my bike. It is early night, so it is not completely pitch black yet. There were streetlights and it is a good neighborhood, so I felt safe. Do a few laps around the neighborhood, about to do one more. Reach the house at the end of the street. The lights in the house turn on, and there is a silhouette behind the curtains. Oh shit, .jpg. Pedal down the street back to my house immediately and go inside. A couple years later, a family bought the house. They never talked to anyone, let alone visibly left the house that often. They sold it a year later. That shit's haunted.
Be me. Be 15, almost 16. Friend and I ditched school to steal booze once. Go to this abandoned building every time we ditched to chill. Was once a vet, got shut down for some reason. Go in through back door, it was just unlocked first time we went there and we never questioned it. Go to the lobby where there is chairs, share an eighth of Jack Daniels. Shitface .jpg, just chilling and talking about stupid shit. Hear a bark in the back room. Both of us shut up. Silence. Go back to talking. A bit uneasy, but we are wasted, what do we care? Another bark. Friend says, dude, go check it out. Fuck no. I will go with you. Say fine, we go in search of this dog. Think we might just be drunk and hearing things. Mention it to friend. Sarcastic, yeah, that is why we both heard a bark at the same time. Check all the rooms. Nothing. Say fuck, did you drug the booze or something? Friend says you opened the bottle, dipshit. Go back to the lobby thinking we just heard something. A third bark. Go check again because we know there is a dog in here. Check all the rooms again. Nothing. Split up to keep looking. I am looking through an examination room and shit. Right as I turn to leave, hear bark right behind me. Turn around and nothing. Growling. Just about ready to shit my pants at this point. Fucking racket this time. Tons of angry barking from more than one dog coming from the same room as me. Nope, out of there. Leave the building. Wait outside in the safe sunlight for friend. He comes out. Dude, what happened? Tell him. Does not believe me, says he did not hear it. What the fuck, .jpg. Shit was loud. He was only a few rooms away and the door was open. He should have heard it. Spent the rest of the day chilling in a park with him because I said I did not want to go back in, and he was fine with it. Never went there again, even though we ditched a few times after.
I lived in a cabin where things would just fly across the room. I always thought ghosts and whatever were bullshit, but I'd literally see shit fly around. There's no rational explanation for it. We had to put our knives in a drawer instead of a holder because they'd start swinging around at random guests. At first, I didn't really take in what was happening. My roommate was kind of a prankster, so I thought it was him for the first few days. He kept insisting he wasn't. Then one morning a roll of paper towels flew across the room and hit my bong, which knocked it off the table. I was pretty pissed that he broke it, and turned around to be like, "WTF, dude?" But he was in the shower the whole time. My roommate at the time and I had multiple people witness it. We had a friend come up, and as soon as she stepped through the door, a deck of cards flew across the room at her. She freaked out and didn't want to stay in our house. Another friend had a knife thrown at him and left immediately, which was when we started putting them in the drawers instead of the holder. Objects would get moved while we were sleeping, too. It got in the way of our lives because we'd lose wallets, keys and such, only to find them in weird places, like on top of the fridge or jammed up behind the bathroom mirror. I slept on the bottom of the cabin and would regularly have my sheets torn off me at night. It was cold as fuck and also creepy to pull them up and then wake up later with them on the floor. The house also had a weird energy that was like static. You could feel the hairs rise on your arms and neck. There was a certain room where this feeling was amplified. We moved a roommate into the bad room a couple months in, and I think he went insane within a week or so. Went from being a normal, quiet dude to coming home drunk at 3 a.m. and screaming that he wanted to kill us. Long story short, obviously. A lot more went on, but I'm about to go to bed, so I don't feel like going into it.
This is one of those things that doesn't sound scary at all. But, I don't know, it was a bit weird. Still don't know what it was. Brother driving me home one night around 1 a.m. Decides to go up Spook Road. It is a much shorter trip. Super sketchy at night if you're walking it, though. Even in a car, it is a bit creepy. Has this sudden bend in it. And I cannot tell you how many cars have crashed there. It is pretty much a small woods on one side, the road, bigger woods on the other side. This is around winter, so there is no leaves on the trees. Start driving up, and just as we get around the bend, see this cloudy or smoky or misty or fog coming from the small woods across the road, a little further up. Point this out to Brother, but he does not even seem to see it by how he dismisses it. My assumption is someone is having a fire in the woods, because it is common to do that, and the smoke is blowing in the wind, despite it being a really still night. Drive under it, and the car seems like it is losing power. Get a little way past it, and Brother stops in the middle of the road, staring in the rear view. Asks me if I can see what I had already pointed out to him. Look out the rear window, and it is definitely not from a fire. It is really thick, about 10 to 12 feet above the road. White, actually quite big, and just sort of suspended above our lane, not moving at all. No other smoke or whatever coming from the woods now. Watch it for a few seconds. Starts spinning like a mini hurricane, then completely dissipates. It was just really weird. I've been on that road a million times, and while there have been spooky events happen, alone and with friends, I've never seen anything like that before.
My dad's story. Be Anon's dad. Doing a Euro trip with friends because I am young and Anon's birth has not ruined my life yet. Obviously, we do not have much dough, decide to stop at a hostel for the night. Creepy, almost empty. Get a room, tired. We start sleeping right away. After about an hour, none of us can sleep because some dumbass kid is playing ball upstairs. Ball bouncing left and right, making so much noise, kid laughing his ass off like a retard. Goes on till about 3 a.m. LOL, doesn't this kid have parents? Finally it stops, and we get some sleep. The morning after we decide we are going to stay one more night. decide to go to the reception to ask the family staying in the room on top of us if they can keep the volume down tonight. The receptionist tells us we are the only ones staying in the hostel. Later on, we find out that a kid died in that room several years ago. What the fuck? It sounds like a lousy Campfire story, but my dad swears it's true.
This shit runs in my family. My aunt and uncle lived in a small town in the middle of nowhere. Uncle worked night shift in a warehouse. One night, a shipping container broke loose from the crane that was lifting it and fell on him. The impact broke most of his bones, but he lived. This happened at about 3 a.m. The night this happened, my aunt woke up before 3 a.m. and drove to the nearest hospital trauma center in a fugue state. That hospital was 2 hours away from their house. No one had called or come to the house, and this was before cell phones. She was waiting in the emergency room lobby in her pajamas and slippers when the paramedics brought my uncle in on a gurney. To this day, she can't explain it. She just woke up and knew something had happened to her husband and that he would probably be at that hospital and felt compelled to go. Another story we have is about my dad, who has psychic vibes, but deeply Christian and doesn't like to talk about it. His father was in the Air Force and a 33rd degree Freemason in DC, if that tells you anything. Anyway, back in the day, my dad would often have dreams of my dead grandfather visiting him wearing his Air Force uniform. My grandfather would calmly talk about the work he was doing on the other side, and then he would give my father a description of a plane, a location, and a flight number. Then he would tell my dad, "Don't worry, there is nothing you can do about it. Trust in God." A day later, a plane of that description would crash in the location mentioned. The dreams really used to freak my dad out when he was younger, but as he ages, he seems to have come to peace with it. At some point, my grandfather stopped showing up in dreams. Maybe he moved on to a new incarnation or plane of existence. I don't know. And lastly, I had a really strong premonition the night my mother was murdered, but it is not something I feel comfortable talking about in detail.
Alrighty/X/, I'm here to recount a story that, while not my own, has stayed with me ever since I heard it, and made me wonder if anyone else has ever had a bad feeling about someone turn out to be sensing actual danger. Be my mom. About 26 years ago. Be with my dad, going out to a friend's house to buy some weed for the weekend. Friend is out. But he knows a guy that can hook them up if they are okay with a drive into the country. Parents are cool with it, hop in the car and head to this other dealer's house. Get to the house, dad and friend get out, mom feels weird about the place and opts to stay in the car. Deal commences indoors. Dad, friend, and dealer come outside to talk and smoke for a bit before everyone departs. Dad convinces mom to get out of the car and meet the dealer and be social. Mom steps out and socializes. This is where my mom insists that shit got weird, and is something that makes her skin crawl just thinking about it. Mom is introduced to Jerry. The moment she looks into his eyes, she said that everything seemed to go dark, and the feeling of something shaking like thunder grips her body. She looks into his eyes and she says a voice boomed in her mind, "Never come here again." Mom insists that they leave immediately. She swears that she will never go to that house or associate with that dude. To this day, she insists that she felt pure evil emanating from him, and the voice telling her to leave and never return was something she couldn't ignore. 1 week later, they find out that he was arrested for Chris Channing and murdering a girl on her 15th birthday, then disposing of her body with the help of his roommate.
Middle of winter. Live up north with a good chance of aurora borealis. In the city, light pollution makes them look like shit. One night have insomnia. Decide to drive up north into the countryside to maybe see the northern lights. Bring a camera. It is an old piece of shit since story takes place in early 2000s. Cold outside, under -20 Celsius. Car is old, but reliable. Still a little sketchy to go out alone, so pack warm clothes, food, etc., just in case. Drive down small back roads to a nice spot in the middle of nowhere. Small valley with short pine trees. Visibility is great. There is no clouds, so even without aurora borealis, you can clearly see space. Take a long exposure picture of space. Also, take a picture of your car for fun. While taking the picture, hear a loud pig-like groan from the forest. Freeze, hear the sound again. This time it is higher pitched and sounds like a banshee. It is coming from close by. Look around, but all you see is pine trees covered in snow. Hear the groan for a final time and a tree shake. Wish you had taken a gun with you, since it might be a bear that failed to hibernate. Wait in silence, just listening to your own heartbeat. Eventually calm down. Investigate every tree close by, but find nothing. Walk back to the car, willing to just forget about it. Check the final tree right next to the car. Instantly see a swollen purple and red woman's face in the tree. Its eyes are wide open eyes, staring right back at you. Almost pass out from the fright and almost punch it. Come to your senses and realize it is a person and they need help. Dig them out of the snow and bring them to a hospital. It is a snowshoe hiker that went missing 2 days ago. They tripped in the middle of nowhere and just got fully stuck, wedged between tree and snow, left to die. They had to amputate toes, etc. But she survived. It's my dad's story. I saw his picture of the car as a kid, and the woman's face was clearly visible in it. It was fucking creepy.
The only one I can remember is when I was at a party about 4 years ago. Everything is going great, having a good time. Apparently my buddy had some issues with someone at the time. Had no idea about it. See this guy walk in who is also a good friend. Get a bad feeling about it. Tell my buddy we should probably go. He notices the guy. Tells me what is going on. Oh damn. He kinda steers clear of him because he does not want to fight. Guy realizes he is there and goes outside and starts calling him out. Tell buddy to just leave. Instead he goes out to try to talk to him. Guy too drunk, starts to fight. The whole time my buddy is just trying to stop him. No one really gets hurt. We leave, try to find a new party, find one and are on our way. Get close and get the feeling again, but do not say anything. Buddy walks in first. I'm right behind him and notice everyone in the house is in a circle with the center of the room clear. Oh damn. Guy comes running out of the hall when Buddy walks into the room, starts beating on him. Buddy still does not want to fight him, so just takes it. No one does anything but watches. Someone tries to get him to get off. No luck. I walk over, calmly place my hand on the guy's shoulder and say, just stop, that is enough. Now I am a small guy and do not like fighting. He turns and looks at me with anger in his eyes. Our eyes meet and all of a sudden he calms down. His body relaxes. He calmly gets up and walks away. After my buddy gets up, all of a sudden he is back and angry again. A couple of people restrained him. Leave. A couple months later we were all hanging out joking about it. He looks at me and says, I don't know what you did that night, but for some reason when I looked at you I felt like I needed to stop. He said he's never gotten that feeling from anyone before. It was a strange night.
Be me, spiritual hippie. Mom gives me a bunch of plates, pans, clothes, and towels. Obviously, she has good intentions, but none of this I really need. Only take it because it is free and do not want to make her mad. Get a gut feeling that something in this pile of things has the virus, and that if I do not throw them out, I will get it. Throwing everything out as we speak. My gut feeling has been right about things before. I once had a gut feeling I was going to be left in a bad situation if I splurged shopped, and the one time I did it, I was mobbed later that night and left with trauma. How do I break it to her that I threw it all out without getting her mad? I don't want to lie to my mom, and she's going to ask if the clothes fit tomorrow. I know my gut feeling is always right, and I feel like an idiot when I obey it. But when I don't obey it, bad things happen to me when I live beyond my means. Does anybody else get these prophetic gut feelings and intuition? I know my gut is right, and you're gonna all call me schizo, but it's gotten me out of danger before. God won't let me live beyond my means, and if I do, I get fucked up bad. What do I do about my mom? She's gonna be so mad, but I can't risk it, and I'm not going to willingly give these items back to her either. Also, due to something with Social Security, she's not supposed to be giving me stuff either. She's only allowed to give me loans for money. So I know I'm gonna get fucked if I live beyond my needs here. God punishes me for being greedy because I have a tendency to be greedy. Help. I can't lie to my mom either. That would be sinful. I must tell her the truth and why I felt it needed doing. I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can. That's all I can do to make sure that she understands fully.
You couldn't have just, sanitized them?
Nope. I feel like God is going to punish me if I try to keep this stuff I don't actually need. This gut feeling is always right, and I've tried to cheat it before only to get as doubly fucked up. I don't even want the plates and shit. I'm only taking it because my mom bought them for me. So if I disinfect them and keep them, something worse will happen to me. I just know. It's boiling my blood now even thinking about it, and my connection with him is being severed right now by having these objects in my house. I can't even meditate to calm down. I feel like God won't let me go back to normal until I get rid of everything.
Be a non. Throw away perfectly fine dishes and clothes because you don't want to wash them. Write a few paragraphs on /x/ to cope.
I do not like sleeping at my dad's house. Never really have. Age 8 to 12. Really afraid of the big room downstairs. It is just a room with a fan, couches, a table, and then deep inside there is a fireplace and a dinner table. Always dreamt of something dragging me or luring me down to that room and then wake up in the middle of the night. Probably what started my fear of the dark. Age 12 to 15. Still live in my dad's house. Parents have divorced, so I have to stay there 1 week and vice versa. Sit in my room playing video games on my computer. Have headphones on. Dad usually screams from downstairs or the TV room, which is right outside of my room when the dinner is ready. Dad works a lot, so he is not home that much of the day or during the week, so I am mostly by myself. Hear my dad's voice calling for me that dinner is ready. Take off my headphones and start heading towards the stairs. While I am halfway downstairs, I remember Dad saying that he would not be home until the morning. It was around 2 in the middle of the night. I run back upstairs and think about who or what that voice could be. Sit and watch TV until Dad comes home, and then go to bed as soon as he has entered the house. Age 16 to 18. Used to being home alone at this point. Really have to take a piss. Walk down the hallway to the bathroom. Leave the door open as nobody is home, so I do not care about shutting it or locking it. As I am almost done with pissing, the door shuts by itself. I get scared. Try to open the door. It is locked. The lock is on the inside, so I try to unlock it, but it does not work at first. A few seconds later it works and I can get out of the room, but the door seemed heavier to open. Thought someone was fooling me and blocked the door from the other side, but that could not happen, of course, since I was home alone. Age 18 to now, 20. Nightmares where I end up dying in painful and brutal ways. Sometimes wake up in the middle of the night.
B5. Family gets a new home phone. Old phone gets left in the back room, still connected and operational. Mom does not let me use the phone on your own yet. Secretly talk to relatives through the leftover quick dial registry that just need you to press one button. Pressing one calls mom's number, 2 calls dad, 5 calls grandma, etc. Talk to everyone other than mom and dad, just info dumping about my daily life and making fart sounds. Most relatives act weird and do not want to talk. The only one who cannot get enough is quick dial number 3. Talk to number 3 about everything. If dad is getting fat, tell number 3. If mom is out of town, tell number 3. Number 3 is a guy just called Jack. Talk to Jack for weeks. Parents already know I'm using the phone. They think it is to call grandma. Jack talks about cool things like girls and swearing and other stuff. Talking to Jack is nothing like talking to lame old grandma. Birthday comes around, so tell Jack. Jack wants to come over. Give him the house address since I know it by heart. By some stroke of luck, decide to tell parents that Jack is coming over. Who is Jack? Try to explain, but mom and dad do not get it. My birthday party gets canceled with no explanation. Unfortunately, it is not a ghost story. All the quick dials other than 1, 2, and 5 were set up to call random numbers for some reason. I was just talking to strangers, and out of them, one became a bit too interested and wanted to come over. Dad gave the info to the cops, and we moved houses. I kind of wish there was a better ending, but to me it is still very creepy to think about.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.